Hello, and welcome back to the channel Edify. So today we are jumping back to our B.Ed videos, that is the 4th semester running up, right? So the first paper that we're gonna look is Gender, School and Society. Hope this is an interesting paper for you all to start it. Okay, so when it comes to this paper, we look into unit 1 in this particular video, and further units will be discussed in further videos. Okay, so coming to the unit 1, we cover gender roles in the society. So what are the things that is comprised and consist in the unit 1 is meaning and definition of gender, characteristics, gender versus sex difference, and the role of gender in society, family, caste and class, religion and culture, media and popular culture, law and state, film and advertisement, role in the songs and in the general inequalities and the education as well. Okay, so first, what is gender actually? It refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, expressions and identities of girls, women, boys, men and gender diverse people. So the basic is socially constructed role. It is not about the birth, it is about socially constructed role, behavior, expression, identity, everything. So gender is not biological again, it is shaped by culture, society and history. For example, there may be a man who likes to do the household works which the society frame it for women. So it is not by the biological, it is shaped by the culture, society and history, which is said by WHO, the World Health Organization. Okay, what is the sociological view? What is the sociological view about gender? Gender is a social institution that again shapes power relations between groups. Okay, what is the feminist view? Feminist, you know who is feminist? The one who stands for the woman, stands for the feminine is what? Feminist. So what they say, gender is a system of oppression that privileges men over women. Psychological view. Gender identity is one's internal sense of self as a man, as a woman or other. So these are the three views that we have. First, sociological view, how the society is viewing as a social institution that shapes the power relations between the groups. Feminist says it is the oppression that privileges men over women. Of course, the superiority goes for the men still in this 21st century. And psychological view is one's internal sense of self as a man, woman and other. Okay. So characteristics of gender. We did see in the definition and how the sociological view is there, psychological view is there, feminist view is there. Now, characteristics. When it comes to characteristics, socially constructed, dynamic and changing, learned behavior, hierarchical, cultural variation, institutionalized. Okay, what is socially constructed? As we say, it is not by biological. Gender is created by society. The society has its norms, values, expectation. And again, it's not by nature. What is society? A group of people. It's not individual. Everyone involving is called society. So it has its rules. How it has its rules? Maybe the society have different views, but the majority wins. So that's what the norms, values and expectation is there in the society because of the majority people prefer that. Okay, dynamic and changing. Gender roles evolve over time with changes in social, economic and political conditions. Maybe if a woman have highest salary than a man, there her hand rises. Or if men has highest salary, there his hand rises. And political conditions, so it is all about the society again. So based on the situation, it gets changed, it gets evolved. Learned behavior. Children are taught gender roles through family, school, media and peers. So how the children knows? Of course, first from their family, what they are following, the generation to generation and the current generation. Of course, from the school. And nowadays, it's important to note that they are also following the medias and getting it know about the behaviors and how the society is going on. Hierarchical. Gender system typically places the men above women, creating inequality and power differences. So the hierarchy that is also again comes to society. So it's typically places men, which is blindly believed, blindly followed. And that's been something, unavoidable situation happening in every home. Cultural variation. Again, expectation of a gender is actually different across the culture, religion, caste and region. There is a place where women are suppressed, but at the same time, there is also a space where the people are suffered because of caste and religion. It doesn't about men or women. Both will suffer because of the caste and religion, all those things. So the cultural variation also plays the role. And again, if the particular higher caste people higher caste woman is getting the job, the lower caste woman should not get the job. That is also there. May vary from, the place to place and the state to state, whatever it is. Next, institutionalized. Gender is embedded in laws, education, religion, economy and all the major institutions. So there is a percentages. This much women should get job, these much men should get. There is a percentage. However, the women do have less percentage. There is a compulsion there, like 35% women should get a job in there. 25% women should get education in the university. These kind of norms are still there. What I personally feel is, it shouldn't be like that, allocating and making it compulsory. It is all about the choices, letting them as if they want. Okay. So, we don't know the couple of words that are sex and gender, which is actually very various different words. Maybe you are thinking it's same. Maybe you know that it is various words but doesn't know the difference. What does it mean exactly? So when it comes to sex, it's biological term. When it comes to gender, it is socially constructed, what we have seen so far with the definition and characteristics of gender. Okay, so it is determined by the birth. The sex is determined by the birth of chromosomes, XX, XY, those kind of things. So the biological students will get easily, understand the terms of X's, XY's. Okay, what is gender then? Assigned by society. Again, assigned by society based on cultural expectation. So the society have expectation when the child is born. This is how it needs to be raised. This is how it needs to be studied. This is how it needs to be grown. There is something assigned. And when it comes to sex, again, includes anatomy, hormones, reproductive organs. Again, here the role, behavior, responsibilities. Then universe across culture. This is universe across the cultures, across the world. But this is various across the culture and time period. It will get changed, it gets evolved, it gets refined. Everything happens in gender. It is in the hand of human. But this is not in the hands of human. Cannot be changed. That, medically there may be something. But it is a nature given by God that cannot be changed. But this gender can change and evolve over one's lifetime. That may be possible. Next, binary in traditional view, that is a male or female. But this is spectrum. This is man, woman, non-binary and more. There are people who will be a man and feeling like a girl and girl is feeling like a boy. There are different norms that this gender have. So hope you got the differences. Now, gender roles in the society. Do you think the gender is playing role only in the family or only in the particular area? Not at all. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It is a set of behavior, attitude and responsibility that a society is considering appropriate for men and women especially. So, work done for payment or in a production of goods often dominated by men. Includes formal employment, farming, trade, these things. So the productive roles, when it is a productive roles, that comes to men. It is something fixed. But when you go for a reason, there not be much valid reason that why not women. There is no reason for why not women. So reproductive roles, the productive roles is men. So the reproductive roles is of course a women. Childcare, domestic, emotional labor, these things are assigned to women, unpaid but essential for society. Note it, this is unpaid but essential for society. And still wondering, the society is us, right? So it is in the hands of us to change the things. Okay. Community roles, volunteering, social events, community maintenance, often done by both but driven by women. Because being united and gathering the things is done by women, I feel. So the society is assigning the role based on the gender, where there is no equal power and opportunities. There is always unequal power and opportunities. Okay. So when it comes to the family, so the family is something, the base, the primary institute where the genders are first taught and first reinforced. Father or a man, he should be the breadwinner, decision maker, authority figure, financial power. Even if the child needs a toy, if she asks with a mom, always go and get your permission from father. Go and get your permission from the man who is a family head. Mother, caregiver, cook, emotional nurture, household manager. Again, if a child is asking for a food with father, no, he will not. Go and ask with the mother. Something is assigned and structured. Okay, son. They are encouraged to be independent, adventurous, career focused. Whatever they want to be, they can. Daughters, trained in the household duties first, taught to be obedient and modest. Okay, this is something the structure the society have. Now, if we see, it's been evolved, right? You people, of course, get a question. No, nowadays, women are studying, women are doing what they want. Everything is there. But you think the percentage that the woman who is studying, the same woman who is cooking in the house, the woman who is going for the job and earning the money to be independent, the same woman continues with the same emotional things, taking care of the family, cooking for the family, household works, everything is in her hand. It is added on responsibility to the women. But the breadwinner is just doing the breadwinner job, right? So that has to be changed. Equality is not only in education and not only in, not only in education and not only in the employment. It is also, and it is important in the emotion and the day-to-day responsibilities as well. Okay. So impact of family gender roles. What is the impact this is giving? Girls may have less access to education and career choices. Okay, now the girls are allowed to choose their career, but they should not go for the hard jobs. Maybe the army, the police, or something that is really hard. Engineers, these kind of roles. What they can do is the show of nature, maybe teaching and maybe into the software. These kind of roles which is safety for women. It is limited actually. In the name of safety, it's been limited. Boys may be denied emotional expression and nurturing roles. So, what the example given in a book, I'll let you know. If a boy in a classroom is crying, the teacher herself asked the boy that, why are you crying like a girl? Let me tell you teachers, you are the teacher educators and future teachers, right? And maybe already a teachers. Please do not ask this question to a boy if you have, already asked or you have in your mind. Don't ask the boy like, why are you crying like a girl? No, that's wrong completely. He do have an emotion. He is allowed to cry. He can cry. That's his emotion, right? And same time, if a girl is doing some hardest task, maybe lifting the bench from one class to another classroom, that activity, the teacher is questioning like, why are you doing the actions like boy? No, she is allowed to do. She had the strength she is doing. That's it. So So do not compare, this task needs to be done by male and this task needs to be done by female. No. And the economic dependence again. Even the women are earning, some family have the hand that the men should decide the money that is earned by women. The men should decide how she have to spend and what she have to buy. Still they need the permission to do the things. But men, no, they can do it whatever they want. So these things also needs to be changed, right? Okay, so patriarchy begins at home. It begins with us. Within us it is there. Whoever sees this, like, man or a woman say this video, please think it about. Okay. So gender roles in caste and class. Okay. Apart from the family. Now, maybe the family is full supportive. Now it comes to the caste and class. So there is a caste that they themselves design. Upper caste women, lower caste women who is forced into this kind of works, those kind of works. Caste based dress codes restrict women freedom. Of course. And caste purity linked to women's sexuality and marriage. Dalit women faces double discrimination in the caste and gender. Intercaste marriage is strongly opposed. So these are the things in caste. It is there. Class. Elite women may have access to education yet face social restriction. Working class women, double burden of paid work with domestic labor as we discussed earlier. Poverty forces women into unsafe employment. Even the employment is unsafe. There is some tortures are there. You can't handle it emotionally or physically, whatever it is, they have to be there to get the money because of poverty. Class shapes that femininity looks like in each group. Rich women benefit from class privilege despite gender inequality. Poor women also constrained by failing to meet breadwinner role. How these things are, when you read these things, I can assure that you can write it by your own. The women or men, you can see what is happening around you and you can write it on your own. Okay, the caste and class is another role. Now, religion, culture. Okay. So, scriptures often prescribe that different roles for men and women. Women excluded from certain ritual and leadership. That should be done by man, it says. Concepts of purity control women's behavior. Saying that purity, women are impure, is it so? But it controls the women's behavior. Religious texts used to justify patriarchal practices. So they say religious text, but I don't know, maybe it is misunderstood by many of us. It has to be, properly communicated or properly understood. It is all about our convenience, right? Yeah. So when it comes to culture norms dictate clothing, speech, behavior. A woman cannot speak loud. Women cannot laugh loud. Lot is there. Women cannot sit like this. Cannot walk like that. These. Even the art, dance, music. Again, there is an example in the book. If a boy is going for a dance and singing, the family they'll ask, why are you doing like a girl? Is that something property of a girl, dancing and singing? No, right? Yeah, that is also an example given in a book. You guys should note that, nothing is assigned for a man, nothing is assigned for the woman. They are allowed to do what they want. Yeah, I hope your writing will show. Okay. Popular culture, that is music, social media, internet. So these culture shapes modern gender ideals through social media influencers, memes, music videos, the contents in the online. It can both challenge stereotypes and reinforce harmful genders. So the ideal man or a perfect woman propagated by celebrity culture creates unrealistic expectation and pressure. This is so true. The celebrity culture is creating unrealistic expectation and pressures to the women and even to the man. So this celebrity culture is something, everybody wants to be in fit into that. But it's not possible, and behind the scenes is not seen by everybody how they become celebrity. And people are like, They want it in the real life, but that's not possible. Only the celebrities are celebrating in the on screen, not in the off screen or in their own family. That has to be understood. Okay, media again. Film. Woman is shown as mother, victim, lover, but men, heroes, leaders. Very rare female protagonists are there. Rare positive female protagonist. So again, you note that there is female protagonist. There is a heroine centric movies, but that is rare. That needs to be noted. Even I doubt that even a woman will, if the feminist movie is repeatedly taken, 50 of feminist movie been taken, the woman will go and rewatch. I don't know. Maybe they watch the heroes movies more than this. Maybe. Have to think about it. Advertisement. Again, women will sell domestic product, beauty. Men sell car, alcohol, power, everything. Body stereotyping is also common. That also needs to be think. Only women will come for the beauty advertisement, not for the driving advertisements, right? Songs. Lyricist and the lyrics objectify women, celebrate male dominance. Women's voice often silenced and over-sexualized. That is also true. Or it is most of the time it is in the sad mode. I don't know why it cannot be in the happy mode. Yeah. News media. Women underrepresented as reporters and experts. Female politicians judged on appearance, not politics. That is also needs to be noted. Which is still now it's happening now. Maybe the number increased, but the judgment is even happening. Okay. Everything is there. Apart from, the society, apart from the family, apart from the caste, religion, everything. How the gender is being placed in law and state. So when it comes to the law and justice first, the personal laws, that is the religious laws, how the women, man treated in the marriage and inheritance in every religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christian. Dowry law exists, but implementation remains weak. Law against domestic violence, sexual harassment at workplace is there, but still it's happening. Reservation policy for women in panchayats is 33%. Laws protecting women often not enforced equally. Unequal access to justice for poor and marginalized women. These things are there. But when it comes to action, it is weak. Okay, state and governance. State policies often reinforce gender roles. Maternity leave, paternity leave, everything is there. But not given every organization. That needs to be taken care. Women underrepresented in parliament and bureaucracy. Government welfare schemes may perpetuate dependency. Public safety infrastructure affects women differently. State defines family in ways that exclude women's autonomy. Gender budgeting emerging as a progressive tool. Still these things are there. How to say? In previous era, the gender discrimination is there in the ancient mode. Now it is in the modern mode. That's the difference. Reason. Okay. We know the gender is inequality. What is the reason for it? Patriarchal system. Okay. The society structure to give men authority and power over women in all spheres of life. Lack of education, still denied education, and limited economic independence and awareness. Economic dependence is something very worst thing. Religion and tradition, cultural norms, that is something deep-rooted beliefs. Media stereotypes, which is really very worst, the media should understand it. Weak legal systems, biological misuse, everything is there. Now, gender and education outside the school settings. So what is in the outside the school settings? School have some settings which can be learned into your book and to your teachers, everything. Outside, home, family, religious institutions, and community and peer groups. social media, internet, televisions, OTT, workspace. When you born, you do it in the home, primary. Then you go to the church, temple, whatever it is. Community, that is your neighbor, friends. Social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. Television, serials, films, reality shows, then workspace. Everywhere you face this outside, apart from the schools. Okay, so these are the unit 1 key takeaways. Gender is socially constructed, not biologically fixed. It is learned, not born. Please note that it is learned, not born. Sex and gender are different. It's biological, it's cultural and social. Gender roles permeate every institution. Family, religion, caste, class, media, law, state, everywhere it's there. Media, films, ads and songs are powerful tools that both reflect and create gender norms. Gender inequalities have multiple root causes, that is patriarchy, economic, religion, culture and law. Education happens inside and outside school, that is home, community, media and all education genders. And the first steps towards the equality should be taken by us. Okay. Thank you and keep learning, keep growing and break the stereotypes. And this is what all about gender, school and society in the unit 1 gender roles in society. Let us meet in the unit 2. So the unit 1 keynotes and everything you have seen. The unit 2 will be gender identity and gender socialization process. We'll look into it that. Bye. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Keep your comments, keep your subscription and notification on so that you will get the videos on time. Thank you. Bye.